What's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3Stickity. Today I'm coming at you guys with another update on Brandon Dracotail. This is the list that I took to the Seattle Regionals. Just to preface, I did not meet my goal. When I went there, I wanted to win. I unfortunately got 15th place, and top 16 don't get nothing. Top 32 gets invites. That's cool. To me, if you top, it's really just top 8, and I didn't make top 8. Unfortunately, I finished X2. I'll tell you about the tournament report later, but basically, I was undefeated up to round 4. I bricked twice in a row. We'll talk about that when you get to the tournament report. And then I won out until round 9, and I played VSK9, my worst matchup. I went into game 3. He ashed my Fua, and my remaining cards in my hand were Ketu, Brandon Fusion, Fallen of Albaz, and Dracotail Horn. I learned a lesson. If you play heavy combo decks that can, lock you out of the game, side both your traps out. You just need every card in your hand to be playable. Just side them both out. Don't do what I did. I kept one in. I was like, oh man, we might get into a simplified game state. I might need a grind. You know, VS cards can kind of grind. That Horn might be really cooking that Rock of the Vanquisher. I just need one trap. I drew the one trap. So I had Ketu, Brandon Fusion, Albaz, Horn. He ashed my Fua. I drew for turn. I drew Rahu. And I had all these power spells, but only one monster. So the problem was I had to use the Albaz for one of them. Because if I activate Brandon Fusion, Sin Albaz, I can't use any of the power spells. I'm cooked, right? So I was like, dang! So I lost. It didn't matter what I did. I tried my best. I tried to art the line back my Albaz. So I lost round 9, and my record after that, round 8. I'm lying. It was round 8 because there was 8 rounds of Swiss at this regionals. So my record after that was X2. I was really sad because I went in a game 3 with Phantasmates, Perulias, Nibs, Drolls, Fuwaloses, Fimenas, Ash Blossoms, Ghost Bells in my deck. I had loaded up on 22 hand traps, and I drew only one, and he ashed it. So it happens to the best of us. There's nothing I could do about it. So I finished 15th place, went X2. I learned a lot from that event. I played out of my mind. I'm not gonna lie. I had a good time, bro. I had fun, so I'm not gonna complain. I learned a lot about my deck, and dude, man, I'm not gonna lie. Every win that I had, I'm lying. I had 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 5 wins that were just straight up 2-0s. And then I had 1 win where I bricked game 1 against Snake Eye Yummy, and I had to reverse 2-0 him. But my other 5 wins were just straight up 2-0s. I only went to game 3 twice, which was against Snake Eye Yummy, and then round 8 against VSK9. My deck really convinced me that it's a good deck. I think Dracotail is a very good deck. This deck ceiling is very unique, and I say this a lot. It's very predicated to the quality of the player. So this deck really does reward skilled gameplay in the aspect that the better you perform with this deck, the better it will be. Its ceiling, I think, has this invisible it has an invisible ceiling. It doesn't really reach a peak the way you think. You think, oh, it can only be this good. No, the deck gets better and better and better the better you are as a player. When you play Yummy, its ceiling already starts out relatively high no matter how bad you play. I think Yummy, Mitsurugi, VSK9, you can make a Ripper, and then your opponent, if they only have Nib, they just lose on the spot, right? Anybody with a brain cell can watch a YouTube combo and go first, and they just open a way to make Ripper, and your only hand trap is Nib, and you have a weak, low impact that they don't have to negate, right? But with Dracotail, you have to play out of your mind. You have to work extra hard to win with this deck. And I like that. I love that about this deck. So I don't think that I'm doing myself a disservice by choosing this deck. Different folks, different strokes, Some people play Yummy because it's just simple. It's simple, it's consistent, it's not gimmicky, it's really not going to break on you. I enjoyed myself. So I'm going to get into the list. I'm going to talk a little bit more. I think that the way that the format developed, it was formulated from, I think, what everyone took away from the most recent YCS. And I just know how Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are. You guys y'all are so predictable. If I took Battery Man to this YCS, the next YCS, and I won, I got first place. And then I proceeded to get top 8 at the next YCS with Battery Man. You guys would all be playing Battery Man. You cannot tell me that you wouldn't, because you guys don't think that decks are objectively good or bad. You guys actually only look at what the deck does, and as far as performance goes into an event. I say that to say this. a lot of people will say a deck's bad until it does good in an event, and then those same people that you saw bad-mouthing it, you will see them shamefully playing that deck and defending the reason why they play it when you know good and well that they were just talking smack saying that deck is trash. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are just funny. You guys are very predictable. I knew that people were going to be trying to Mjolnir lock me, so at first I built my deck so that I would never get unfaired out of the game, but then I realized that's probably only going to last for like 2 weeks, and then everybody's going to go back to their Yummies and their Tempais and their simple decks. And my non-engine was meant to stop people from doing that, but it meant that I had to take a sacrifice where my non-engine wouldn't be good into the mirror, and it wouldn't be good into like pure Yummy. And I didn't want that. I wanted my non-engine to work at all times. So I actually changed the composition of my deck again since the last time you saw the previous iteration, which was purely predicated to what I garnered from my last YCS experience. And I like the list now. There's some modifications I would make, but we'll talk about it. So let's get into the starters. We have 3 copies of Lucius. 3 copies of the GOAT! Malulu! He's the GOAT! It's permanent, bro. Everybody playing against this deck, you keep forgetting, it's permanent, bro. We have 3 copies of Femina. This card, we'll just talk about it later. I love Dracotail so much. I am addicted. This deck is my dopamine, bro. 3 copies of Ketu. Hold on, let me overthink this. And then we've got 3 copies of Rahu. And I play more bombs. I play 2 Branded Fusion, and I also play 1 Prosperity. Some might feel this is not necessary. I say that every single spell in my deck is necessary. These are the only cards that I was comfortable with not being monsters outside of like my traps, because you do need to draw monsters to play. Like this deck does exceptionally well when you have really good fusion materials in your hand to pair with your power spells. You will occasionally fuse off hand traps, but you want to actually be using your Dracotails as fusion materials. That's how you break boards in a systematic way. I always appreciate the way this deck systematically picks boards apart. And it's funny because a lot of times there's not really anything your opponent can do about it. Because in the terms of a reactive deck that plays in the opponent's turn, if they're paired against Dracotail, Pan, Malulu, and Urgula don't target. So you have this dynamic where now you are in a position where you either use it or lose it because you don't know what I'm going to go after. So sometimes you use the card that's threatening me, and then now I can just pop something else. So if you Ripper my Malulu, I'm okay with that because Malulu was going to negate the Ripper anyways. Now my Pan can just pop the next threat, like the Vimana or whatever, you know? So it's a really good deck. I think that it's most of the time objectively better going second. But man, oh man, bro. Do not sleep on this deck going first. The board always looks bad. I appreciate that a lot because nobody really takes the deck seriously. And I think we're in a point where people are respecting it more. But when this deck first came out, it was wrote off as just terrible trash. And I don't think so at all. I would say some little technical nuance. Femina and Malulu are the best cards in the mirror match. And if you know you're playing a mirror, your board should not be looking that crazy because you want to hold bombs like Malulu and Femina for if your opponent has one. You want Malulu exclusively because they're going to try and Secretary on you. So you hold that so that they can't Secretary on you. So basically they are, whatever they make is getting negated. Even if they use like Pan, Urgula, let's say they Pan, Urgula, and Malulu as fusion materials for the Femina. You know that you chain Malulu to respond to their Femina. Whatever they make is not going to be able to resolve. They're just resolving their graveyard effect. So let them hit your flame so they can resolve their power spell. You know, let them pop your guy. Let them negate. The only thing you should have up should basically be Art the Line. Because what you do in the mirror is you actually hold your Gulamel. And so if you already have Gulamel up and they Femina, you can actually chain your Femina, use your Art the Line, your Gulamel, and you put up Secretary on. And now if they don't have Pan Malulu, whatever they summon can't activate. So it's a very similar dynamic of what I'm saying with Malulu. That's why these two are uniquely good in the mirror. Because the Art the Line being able to spin all your stuff back so they could go for lethal, you want your fusions in grave. So you first 5 mana away the Gulamel and the Art the Line. Because now what happens is those go to the grave. And then they will see that two of your opponent's monsters hit the grave and they'll come back. So also, because you're a turn player and you have priority, you will be triggering them and they could chain their Art the Line to target your fusions and, you know, so they don't come back. But that's why you make Secretary on so that can't happen. And so what happens now is all they can do is set. you bring back your Gulamail, and then you activate your Urgula to give yourself your 5 mana back, and you chain, and you want to definitely snipe the Ketu, and it's just so, it's so fun. Mirror matches are really fun, and you can never count really anyone out. I only played one mirror match at this event, and it was round 6, and I 2-0'd him. I lost the dice roll, and losing the dice roll in the mirror never really matters, ultimately. I think what matters a lot is who draws 5 mana first, but even then, there's a lot that can happen. But these cards are unique because they do not play into Flame, and that's why they're also the best in the mirror match for everything that I said. So, these cards are amazing. These are kind of low-key the best cards in the deck. They don't play in the Retaliating Sea. They don't play in the Flame. They allow you to play on your opponent's turn, and they play through a lot. The Prosperity is like literally, it's a godsend. It saved me so many times. I have thought long and hard on whether it should just be a random pan, and it can be a pan. It can hit Ketu, it can hit a lot of things. This card has just, it's too good, I'm never taking it out. So that's the starters. Then we have the injury requirements. We have Frixel, which I often just side out going second, because when I resolve Branded Fusion, I actually want to dump Malulu. Little cool thing about Branded Fusion, I talked about this in my last video, but in case you didn't watch, this card is the best card in your deck, because not only is it a 1-card starter, but it also outs Retaliating Sea, it outs Arclight. It also allows you to play Underdimensional Fissure. The card also is like a good ash check. Another thing is when you Dracotail combo, you can actually, I do this a lot, because I do this to lock. So if I have Ketu or Lucius access already, then your Ketu can basically search your 5 mana, right? So that's cool, that's nice. But what happens when you already have 5 mana access is like your Ketu or your Lucas have the option to grab the Frixel. You use this as fusion material in your combo, you get an extra set, so when you're going first is amazing because now you can get to all 3 traps. But what's also cool is you make Heretic Seals, and now, when you've made Heretic Seals, this is how you're going to be able to Sanctifier lock your opponent, because you will use the Albion or the Lubellion to shuffle this and the Albaz you summon off the seals to make Sanctifier. And you will give them the Spirit, and that's how you lock them. The other cool thing, another cool thing, while we're talking about this, is that when you are able to Dracotail combo, that's why when I see this, I don't use it as a bait. I actually try to push with my Dracotail cards, because if they resolve, I get to dump Frixel in the middle of my combo. So now Branded Fusion go ahead and dump Albaz and a Nibiru, make Albion, use the Albion, banish the Albaz. This is one of many iterations. And then you banish Albaz and Frixel. You can put this back off the trap, so it doesn't matter if that is banished. You make Sanctifier, and on your opponent's turn, you basically summon what you want to your field, give them Nibiru in attack position, bounce the Nibbit with Horn, and it's checkmate, because now they're not what you can you, because you have 5 mana and Nib, and Ripper only beats 1. Like, if you're playing against Yummy, I'm sorry, it's a plate of barbecue chicken. So yeah, this deck's so good, bro. This deck, like I said, just dynamically gets better the better you are as a player. It rewards skilled gameplay. And that's why this is a perfect deck for me, because that's the kind of guy I am. I just like puzzle decks, and I like decks that reward me for grinding them. I know that you can play more of these. The reason why I didn't offer playing heavier on the Dracotail engine, which I do regret a little bit sometimes, is because I wanted real hand traps. So you built this deck objectively so that your 5 manas are always good, because that's pretty much one of the main reasons to play this deck. So that, because 5 mana, if you resolve it, a lot of the times, if it's not a mirror match, the game will be over. So you want to draw cards to basically high roll your opponent, right? I just built my deck in the aspect of, like, if I don't draw 5 mana, the cards are always good, right? So I could fuse off the dead hand traps with my 5 mana and throw, like, a name, you know, and still do, like, a baby Arthalion. But the problem with Pen was that when I didn't draw 5 mana, going second against an unfair deck, I don't have the luxury of, like, using a power spell, right? Because they might Mjolnir lock me. So that was the thing I was thinking. After the event, I will say that I'm not so cautious and afraid that I would not go back to playing 3-Pan. Because Pan is insane. Murakumo, he's still looking for Pan. Pan is insane, bro. This is one of the reasons, bro, that Mitsurugi, it's the buy. It's definitely the buy. You just keep spinning back those Murakumos, and then their prayers doesn't do anything. You check, they ain't on prayers, purification, they set past, you're like, in the main 5 mana, put that Murakumo back in your hand for me, brother. Your purification's dead, your prayers doesn't have board wipe, the game's over. It is the buy. So is Yummy. Yummy's the buy. It's barbecue chicken. The mirror match can be the buy. I think that the worst matchup for your deck is the K9 deck. Just because they can make Ripper so early and threaten Feynman all the time. And that's where we go in to talk about Nib. That's why Nib is so good in this deck. You need bombs in this deck because turn 3 is what this deck is living to. This deck doesn't often get to just go first and win on the spot, so you do have to think about turn 3 more. If you're playing K9, you don't always have to think about turn 3 because you can go first and just win right there. You can Mjolnir lock them, the game's over. You could play Mitsu Yummy, and they might not even want to play in your board because you just have Arc Light and everything, right? This deck doesn't, outside of like Sanctifier locking, this deck doesn't really have anything going for itself, and that's such a high roll hand. Uninterrupted, basically combo tutorial hand, if you ask me. So you need bombs that specifically help you to see turn 3, because it's more important for this deck than it is for other decks. Nib is really good, as well as Fua. We'll talk more about the hand traps as I lay them out. I also play 3 copies of Droll. This is pretty much good against everything. It's semi-decent in the mirror. If they Ketu and add Lucius, I think Droll's kind of nice. Is it a free side out? Yes. I wouldn't keep it in the mirror, but it has overlapping widespread coverage. It's really good into Mitsurugi. It's really good into Mitsuyami. It's even better into Mitsuyami, actually. It's broken against Mitsuyami. And they still play engaged and add Hornet Drones. I'm like, I hope that you drew 2 names, bro. I'm sorry that you have Cupsy and Marshmallow and Habakiri in your hand. That's not my fault. Get drolled. And it's really good against K9. And also, this, in my opinion, this is a hot take. I think that Dracotail is the best deck to play hand traps in because of Art the Lion. Yeah, I said it. If you have turn skips, just put this way, if you resolve Droll once, the game should be over. Because if you're able to play, they're playing through Droll for the rest of the duel. That's insane! That is literally like 79 episodes of filler, bro. That's Infinite Tsukiyomi, bro. That's like Aizen Madara just... Bro, you are trapped in the Genjutsu. You are not getting out of it, bro. I think Looping Ash and Bell are more necessitated for the mirror match, but that's a beautiful thing about like even low impact hand traps. Do I miss Valor? I sometimes miss Ogre too. I like those hand traps, and I like that you just play things that can like overwhelm Rippers and things that can play really well into Yummy boards, and just people aren't playing around Ogre no more. Ogre on Sinachi's kind of crazy, bro. You hit the field spell, and now they literally, if they normaled, it's like you need Marshmallow. Like, or you need a Mitsu combo. And if you're on a Droll, good luck. I hope you drew Marshmallow. So really, really crazy, man. Really, really crazy. I think about it. But yeah, looping these in the mirror match is pivotal. You will not win the mirror match just because you're looping these, but I will say that you cannot really get sacked now. There's no like wild cards. They're not like a top deck Ketu isn't gonna do anything after they like set let's say they set a Rahu, you know, and they had a Ketu in hand. Like your flame hits Rahu and they're like, ah ha 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 Ketu. No, like you ash it. And in the mirror match exclusively, I'm gonna share my secret, you know, I don't want to tell anybody, but people are gonna figure it out eventually. You're supposed to actually bell Urgala. Everybody and their mama in the mirror match. This only applies in the mirror match. Everybody wants to bell the flame so their power spell resolve. Your power spell resolving doesn't really matter because I can let you do anything you want and sit on my 5 mana forever. And the moment I feel threatened, I can just 5 mana you. And so basically, if you don't bell the Urgala, you're forced to make Secretarion in the middle of your turn pretty early, which is not necessarily bad, but now I'm going to be able to out the Secretarion on your turn, so now on my turn, you can't Secretarion me. So I think that's pretty bad because now that's pretty much one of the best cards to make off 5 mana in the mirror. And you're forced to make it on your turn because you didn't bell the 5 mana, you know? So you didn't bell the Urgala. So I just food for thought. This is how I bell. I've never seen anybody doing it. They always bell the traps. I just think it's incorrect. I could be wrong. I could be crazy. Magnamut, card's insane. It's a non-engine, and it literally just searches Malulu on the end phase, breaks boards. It pairs really well with 5 mana because you play Chaos Source, and you also play Secretarion. So like in the mirror, it's really nice. Sometimes you get to like mag their Malulu, you know what I'm saying? You mag their Frixel, and you can actually just fuse this, and you can make either the Chaos Source or the Secretarion. So it's really nice. Or Mysterion. If you're playing against Mitsu, and you just have like a random, like a Droll or even like a Spellcaster Draco, you can mag them, and then you can 5 mana, and you can make Mysterion to just banish their Futsu and what it summons. Mysterion's really good specifically in that scenario, and Mag's really good in that scenario. Outside of it, it's just a really good card. It's an infinite resource. It's not the best hand trap. It's really good in the Mitsurugi and Yummy, but it's terrible against everything else. So it is debatably very citable and cuttable. Call by was my 41st card. I was playing 40 exactly, and I put in call by. I regret it. I hate it. This card was not good. The two times that I bricked, I had this card against Malice when I bricked round 4. Game 2, I drew call by. I was mad. And then in my second round, no, my third round, I bricked against Snake Eye Yummy, and I had to reverse 2-0 that guy. But I bricked on the call by. I had the hand traps. I had like Fua, Nib, call by. Yeah, it was really tragic. I couldn't even set it because I wanted to Fua him, and you know they always have Ash. And when they Ash your Fua, when you had a call by in hand that you couldn't set, you kind of just feel like you want to flip the table over. So I think I'm taking this card out. I'd probably side it moving forward. You know what I'm saying? I think it's good to side. It's a good card because there was a lot of games where I knew if I just resolved Ketu, I would win. But then they would Ash me, and I'd be like, wow, that's crazy. You mean to tell me that your board really is only living because of this girl? That's crazy. So the fact that you live because of her, I need to play called by. But I do regret it. It was my 41st card, and I bricked 3 times at that tournament. Once in round 4 against Malice, and I bricked twice in a row. That's going to be in my tournament report. But yeah, call by is definitely coming out. So that should be the main for the side. Let's do side first. I'm playing 3 Thrust. Basically, Thrust is a really, really good card, especially playing into like Mitsurugi, Yummy. It just adds the brand new fusion. It's another way to out the Arclight, and also it's just like a really good bomb in the mirror as well, because they will be interacting with you a lot. They will be ashing your power spells, and like that's the beauty of playing the branded variant is like they can flame your Ketu, they can ash your Rahu, and you can Thrust for branded fusion. And you actually will still be in there because you can Albaz on their turn, and like you can get to a trap, and like you can just grind and play still. So it's a really good card, and going first is not bad at all. I do think moving forward that I would probably cut it down. I think I might play like 2 or 1. But it gave me a good side out because Nib and Droll were the cards that Nib, Droll, and Fua going first against in the mirror. I just needed good side outs, so we'll talk about it more. But we played 3 Perulia. I was maining this. It objectively is mainable. You can really, because if you play like Mitsu Yummy, like they can just do the mirrors line where they give 0 draws off the Mitsu cards, and then they will commit to the Yummies, and then they can give you 1 draw, you know? They can give you 1 draw and just not do anything else. It's up to what they want to do to you. So it's not that great. It can be good. You could draw like 2, maybe 3 cards, but a competent Yummy player who open like Mitsu cards, they can just give you like 1 or none. Because they could do the Zombie Vampire line, make the Gravity Controller, what they made off the Zombie Vampires full combo, and then they can just actually just give you 1 draw, and it's terrible. Against K9, it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane against White Force. It's not good against Dracotail. And it's definitely not actually good against Pure Yummy, contrary to popular opinion. Against Pure Mitsurugi, because they can actually just do the mirror line again. Summon by dumping the Murakumo from deck and, you know, bring it back off the mirror, give you no draws at all. So I wanted to side it because I felt like it wasn't widespread good enough into other decks. So I actually took this out in main deck 3 Bells, and I do not regret it. The Bells were just better against everything. And not that Bell's a better card, objectively it kind of is, but Bell was just not dead. And also going first, I didn't want to draw a lot of Charmies. I don't care that they're used as combo pieces. I'd rather fuse using like a Bell as a combo piece and add it back so it's actually an interruption than like just using Charmies just for combo pieces and they're just dead. I will say you can draw Fua going first, and you can end on like you can art the line yourself, or you can horn. You can set horn and horn yourself. Like, you could go Gulamel and just, like, horn, chain Gulamel, pop a card, bounce on Fua your opponent. It's not dead, but, like, I will say, I'm not trying to do that, you know? I'm not trying to draw Charmies going first like that. And then we have the 3 Phantasme. This is for the Yummy matchup, and for VSK9. My worst matchup is VSK9. I think VSK9 is better against this deck than K9 Crystron. That's a hot take. You guys might not believe me, but whatever. And then I played 3 D-Barriers. This also is like for siding patterns because I played the 3 Fuas and I wanted like cards that I could just put in going first that just like were actually. I didn't want to just throw in Thrust just to throw in Thrust. I'd rather actually play the 3 barriers than like put in a Thrust in 1 D barrier. And then I played 2 Spankratops and then 1 Sting. So I also feel like I had to play this because originally I was playing Super Polys for the Yummy matchup. But then I thought more and more, like, Pankratops is not only solving the problem of outing Arclight, because that's the main aspect in the Yummy matchup. Arclight, if Arclight's gone, it's barbecue chicken. Like, Yummy, it's barbecue chicken, bro. It's free. But it wasn't good in the mirror. I do not think Super Poly is good in the mirror. You can't change my mind. I think Pankratops is really, really good because it outs Flame and it makes it a lot easier for you to deal with their board. And you can just loop it off Arctoline. And now, like, if they set the traps, you can even summon it in defense and just snipe Horn. It just puts them so far behind. If they're not able to recycle with the traps, you win the mirror match just by outgrinding them. Sting's really good in the mirror because you're hitting their Urgula and their Flymina, so they just can't play on your turn. It's a really good card. So in the mirror, I basically like take out the Fuas, the Nibs, and the Drolls, and I basically like try to do something like this. If I'm going first, I take out the Nibs and I take out the Fuas, and I do like this and this. And then if I'm going second in the mirror, I just take out the Nibs and the Drolls because the Fuas are good. So going first, you take out the Fuas and the Nibs, and you do like this. And then going second in the mirror, you leave in the Fuas, and you basically take out the Drolls and the Nibs, and then you do this, and this, and then this. And sometimes I take out the Magnamut, and I do this, but I sometimes regret it because I need monsters to play. But it's not bad because you never know who's going first. Sometimes they'll make you buy in second, and this is just the thrust. So that's another reason why my side deck looks the way it looks, because I need to be able to side the bad cards out for the mirror to respect the mirror. And that's what's crazy. It's not that you're siding in cards that are just so insane in the mirror. It's just to side out the dead cards, so they're not just random fusion materials. Extra deck is 3 Arthalion. This card's a go! Checking time. Okay, nice. Yeah, this card's a goat, bro. This is my boy. I add back Nibiru so much with this card. It's crazy, bro. Yeah, this card literally is just checkmate on steroids. Checkmate, brother. Checkmate. This is the world is your oyster with the things that you can do with this card. This card, you play against Lunalight, you bounce their Leo. Now they can't Liger you. You know, you play against Jirac, which happened. You bounce their Steros on their turn and they can't board wipe you. This card just broken. It's like, it makes this deck able to like play in, like, this card kind of makes this deck some people's worst matchup because you can interact with your opponent's grave on turn 0. It's so gas. Glumel's kind of trash. You sometimes need to have multiple ways to trigger it, or it will just be a vanilla. I will say in the mirror though, having the dragon, the spellcaster on your inboard is nice. It's a free 5 mana. Put up the Mysterion, they resolve a power spell. These come right back. They have to pop your Mysterion, play into your pan, or they're forced to Malulu, negate your Secretarion, and then these come out, and then you can just, you know, start going after their back row. Very good cards. Secretarion, Mysterion, I hate Mysterion. I never summon it. Even when like I play against Pyramitsu and he did Futsu me, and I didn't even make this. I actually just Arthaline to bounce back his Murakumo and his Futsu, because like I was trying to, like, I knew if I did the Mysterion, he hadn't prayers yet, so he could just technically prayers, and then I don't really out it, and then Futsu comes back off of its effect, and he just can just add and not summon, then it comes back off his effect, and he can just keep grinding with the Futsu. I just don't really like this card. It could be another Secretarion, or just like it might be Titaniclad again with the Kaiju, for just to respect Lunalight again. I didn't want to respect Lunalight at this regionals. I didn't. I only played one. I 2-0'd him. We have Philia, Chaos Source, Sanctifier, my favorite branded fusion monster in the game. These cards are really, really good. These are the best 5 manas. If you're not in the mirror, these are the best 5 mana targets. They're really crazy. Being able to interact with your opponent's graveyard with Philia and Arthaline just gives this deck edges that it's not supposed to have. It's just crazy. Mirror Jade, Lubellion, Albion, and then I actually like making Seal a lot. Every chance I get, I make Seal. Every chance I get, I'm Sanctifier locking. Every chance I get, I'm putting up Seals. Even if I'm just going into Malulu, it just insulates your board and adds a lot of layers. If you have Seals, 3 traps, and a Gulamel, the game is over. So now, I think we're pretty much done with the list. What I'm going to do is get into my tournament report. I'm going to try to be brief as possible. Played 8 rounds of Swiss. Round 1, I played DDD, won the dice roll 2-0, nothing notable. Round 2, Snake Eye Yummy. I bricked game 1. I drew Call by Fua, Nib, Droll, and I think it was actually 5 mana. I think it was 5 mana. And I couldn't set the call by. He ashed my Fua. It's so stupid. It was so stupid. I wanted to flip the table. I was like, I literally have the out for Ash, but I can't set it because then I can't use the Fua. And I didn't want to just like set call by and pray and be like, hey, I'll just try and call by something. Because he legit could just be playing like a K9 deck, and then I won't be able to call by at all. And it'd be so bad if he just goes reveal Dracoel into 5. And what am I supposed to do? Like, I need a Fua now. Like, so I had to, and it was just stupid. But then I reverse 2-0'd him. And he got nibbed, and he did like a Snake Eyes Doom Dragon line with the Flame Burge. Used the 2 to make a Link Rebull, and then used that and the 1 to make a Lollipo, and it was nice. Still lost, though. He still lost. He got reverse 2-0'd. Didn't play Pure Mitsu round 3. I bodied this guy. I fooed him, and he committed into the Dugaris, I think because he didn't have hand traps, so I figured the fact that he's playing into Fua tells me a lot about his hand, because if he had a lot of non-engine, he would just pass on Purification and Prayers. But he didn't, so I nibbed him, and then he brought back his Futsu, and now it's fine. I wasn't tripping. Then he summoned Maximus, and I was like, oh man, this guy's really about to get cooked. And he dumped like Pegasus, Garua, drew 1. I dumped Albion so I could get a Brand Fusion on the Inphase, and I dumped the Spirit. And then I 5-minute him, and my Urgula popped his Super Poly. My Arthalion bounced his Futsu and his Murakumo. When I nibbed him, that's when he activated Murakumo, and I actually just discarded the nib so he wouldn't get a token. People keep forgetting. I guess they just use it or lose it, but I just like... I think sometimes I want the token so I can like play with it, you know? So I'll be like, that's fine. I'll just try and use Murakumo later. Then he prayers back his Habakiri and attack. When I resolved my 5 mana, I set Horn and Flame because I had Ketu Rahu in hand. But I think even if I had just one power spell, I still would have set Horn and Flame because he summoned Habakiri and attack off prayers. So I did that knowing that the Horn would force the Purification out, because if he doesn't use the Horn... If he doesn't use Purification, he just can't use it, right? So, because it was an attack, I set the Horn, I set Flame. I'm like, he set 2, it might be a Prayers. So, in my main to bluff talents, I did Horn target the guy. He chained Prayers. I was like, oh, dang. So, he had other Prayers that I didn't know about. So, I flamed it, and he belled that. So, I forced everything out, and then I did a power play, and then I did Urgula as one of the materials. He didn't Purification it. I think because he saw that I used Urgula, that I added Urgula, that he didn't want to respond because he thought I was going to pop his trap and then he would live, because he tributed and then summoned back his Haba. So if I pop trap, you know, he can just use the trap to reborn something. I didn't pop the trap. I wanted to OTK him. I was like, why would I do that? You didn't use it. That was the only reason why I dumped Urgula, was to see if you would use the trap. That's why I added the Urgula, to see if you would respond. You didn't, so I'm not popping the trap. It's useless. So yeah, OTK'd him, and then game 2, I Perulia'd him, and he passed, and then he like impulsed, and I think he had Super Poly Magatama, and it just didn't matter. I won. I 2-0'd that guy. Round 4 played Malice. Game 1 drew unplayable. I drew Fua, Droll, Magnamut, as well as Nibiru and 5 mana. And I thought, oh, I'll just 5 mana the Droll and the Mag. I'll use Secretarion to bring back the Mag, search on Inphase, make a Seals, get the Pan. I now have Seals, Nib, Pan. And I said, but if he has Bell, Valor, Impermanence, Impulse, anything, right? He breathes. Now all I have is Nib, because now my Fu is dead because I control a monster. I lost the Mag. So I said, I'll keep the Mag, I'll keep the 5 mana, I'll keep the Droll, plus the Fua and the Nib, and I'll just Fua him. And all I need to draw is one Dracotail name, and I'm in there. He was playing Malice. He drew Dormouse Field Spell. I drew 1 after he made his Heart Scriptor, and it was a Bell, and I lost. Then game 2, I drew Droll, Frixel, Flame, Call By, and I said, this is stupid, this is stupid, this is stupid. So I got 2-0'd because I drew unplayable and had to watch him play Solitaire. Round 5, I played Lunalite, 2-0'd him. Round 6, I played the Mirror, I 2-0'd that. Notable things, just again, like I was saying in the profile, just how you use your Malulus in 5 minutes really can determine a lot of the outcome in the Mirror. Game 2, I normaled Albaz into his board of Titanic Galaxy, Secretarion, and Flame with Bell in hand because he added back off Arthaline. The Albaz just cooked the whole field. I sent off the Titanic, made Mirror Jade, banished the Secretarion, and then Did a power spell. He flamed it. It was fine because I had gas and I just pushed through everything. Game OTK'd. And then round 7, I played Ryuj Jirak. This was insane because I had to fireman him early because I ashed his field spell that summons 3 to make the Verudris, and he called by it. He's playing 55 cards. He drew called by. I was like, wow. He called by my ash, so I firemaned early because he's gonna make Verudris. And then I set up my power spells. He set up a direct impact and 3 ways to make Meteor, as well as the Ryuji Trap, and then this continuous spell that says any monster sent from my field to my grave, or both players' field to the grave, are banished. And I broke his whole board. I did Gulamel on his field spell, Urgula in the same chain with his impact. And basically, I put him in a predicament where you just basically, you use impact now and kill my 1 Gulamel and your whole field, including your macro Cosmos. Because he had a card that banishes any of my monsters from the field. So I knew he wouldn't do it because the Ryuji Trap pops, he has a Floodgate, and then he still has his level 6 Dino that synchros on my turn. So I was like, you're not going to use this impact. I'm forcing you to use it early, so he just didn't use it. And I knew that he wouldn't use it because I was like, if he can't chain that, then I can Gulamel his field spell. But he won't, because if he does that, he loses the Floodgate that I want gone. I wanted the Floodgate gone, it'd be easier. I wanted the Trap gone, and I wanted his stupid level 6 gone because I was like, I don't know what this is going to make. It's scary. So I popped his field spell and his Trap, and then I did a power play with Ketu, and I did Pan Malulu. Made an Arthline, targeted his 2 Asteros. Because, oh no, after that, I did the Gulamel. He did actually meteor me. Because I set Ketu Rahu, and he meteored the whole field. Because I think he was just scared. So he meteored the whole field. Then he got rid of his own Floodgate. Everything died. I was like, cool. So I Ketu, did Pan Malulu. Targeted his 2 Asteros in grave, as well as my Malulu in grave. And then he chained, summoned his meteors. And it didn't matter because 1 gets popped, 1 gets negated. And then the game was over. So I won game 1. Then game 2, I won with 27 seconds left on the clock. I was playing out my mind, bro. That was the best duel of the day. So I 2-0'd that guy. And so I'm going X1 into round 8. Play VSK9, worst matchup. Game 1, he just high rolls the crap out of me. He actually drew, let me check time. He drew Rosin game 1, 2, and 3, which was absolutely insane. So he drew Rosin game 1, 2, and 3. And he drew Stake Your Soul Rosin in game 3, which was just so terrible. And he drew Holy Su and Izuna every single game. So I don't know what's up with these people's luck. I just be like, we need a deck check. These cards have to be marked. This is crazy. But I didn't say that. I was just thinking like, dang, that's just, you're so lucky. But I lost game 1. I broke his whole board, but he had Izuna and Holy Su. And he was patient. He just sat there with them, and I exhausted both my power spells. I just had 2 little doo-doo traps that won't do anything, right? And my board was not going to be playing that well because I was forced to exhaust my Flyman as well, just to try and produce a lethal shot to threaten him to shotgun at least Izuna. But the fact that he had Holy Su as well as a Barricade Board Blocker and a Rosin that was known, as well as 2 unknown that he drew on his turn and mine, I was like, this game's over. Game 2, I ended on full board, Seals, Gulamel, 3 traps. I won that very convincingly because I drilled him like it was crazy. And then game 3, I drew Branded Fusion, Ketu, Fua, Horn, and Fallen of Albaz. I Fua'd him, he ashed it. And then I drew Rahu for turn, staring down the full board with the Force Release, the Trap, the Nash Knight, the Ripper, just everything, bro. And then he had Izuna and Holy Su in hand again, and he drew 2. I was like, Jesus. My power spells just, it didn't work out. I'll just tell you how it plays out. When you have Albaz and Branded Fusion, you can't activate Branded Fusion because I only play 1. Now my Ketu Rahu has to use Albaz, and now I have to use Arcline to target the Albaz and get it back just to try and resolve the next power spell. So I lost. So I got really unlucky in game 3, so I finished X2, and that's the tournament report. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is more of a synopsis and an analysis than a deck profile, but it has the conjunction of a deck profile as well as the insight and the tournament report. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Doses, baby.